from New York, and it is not Saturday Night Live. Having been on it several times, and I think almost 10, I am willing to make some animosity with my friend Lorne Michael, who I love, really. I got to know Lorne from the time I did it. I did the show in 1997, because it was the year I won re-election. And the reason I remember it is, unlike the present mayor, I work very hard. And unlike the president, I worked. I mean, so the present mayor doesn't work very hard. The president doesn't work. But I work very hard. This occurred after I had won re-election and before I took office again. So it was a period of time where I was entitled to sort of a vacation. And to do Saturday Night Live, to be the host, you have to give them mostly half a day for an entire week, which is impossible for a mayor. So I selected that time, and I had a blast. I loved it. I enjoyed it. I enjoy performing, so no secret about that. And I really, really, really developed a very warm relationship with many of the people on the cast, like Warren, like Jimmy Fallon. Love those guys. And here's the part that annoys me more than anything. It isn't even Fallon. Well, it is a little bit Fallon. Fallon's not a nut. Way. And neither is Warren. Warren's not a lefty nut. He's a lefty, but he's not a lefty nut. It was the inability to make fun of Obama, for which I lost all respect for them. And now they like to say in retrospect, well, you really couldn't. There was nothing to make fun of. Yeah, give me the show for 4 years, or 8 years. I had to rip that communist trained, I'm trying to be nice, person apart. I really would have. How about, now you're not going to remember this. I am. We're going to find him. This guy couldn't get through a 1-minute sentence without 40 ohs. Yeah. If he weren't reading. So I want to introduce myself. I'm Barack Obama. In high school, for those who don't remember, my name in high school was Barry. In this yearbook, I'm Barry. I am the only Harvard editor of the Law Review, and I'm the only one who never wrote a single damn thing for the Harvard Law Review. I used to count them. That's all he does. I used to sit there with my wife and count them, and it was ridiculous. Then he'd be on he'd be on a thingy, teleprompter. He'd be fine. He'd do a teleprompter if he was greeting the Boy Scouts. I would like to greet the Boy Scouts of Sheboygan here in the White House. Teleprompter. I work for Ronald Reagan, pal. He needed a teleprompter. Well, in any event, he was the president they couldn't make fun of. Yeah, like hell. Like when he was on Barbara Walters for a Christmas special, which no one will remember because they buried it and they probably have burned the tape. And he was asked at the end by Barbara, who has a very, very disarming manner. She said, "What's your biggest weakness?" And he just blurted out, first time he was honest in 10 years, he blurted out, I'm kind of lazy. She hit him so hard. His wife did one of these. He almost won. It was like they had to pick him up off the floor. She's bigger than him. I know he was like a great basketball player. Did you ever see the guy throw a baseball? He got a ball.
Yeah, he does throw with the wrist.
Yeah. Here. No wonder you didn't make the plate. So let's begin, if we're going to do that, with the one on which
nice catch, Mayor.
I bet he couldn't do it. We are going to start now, and you know who couldn't do it is Biden. You throw it here. Joe. We're going to start off with a little music introduction for President Gay, or shall I say, former President Gay, who was, well, I have to say, I read all her stuff today, her stuff about why she was fired, and I didn't realize that she was the victim here. I didn't. It's terrible what they did to her. It really is terrible. First of all, she only plagiarized 45, 50 times. I mean, it wasn't like she did it 400 or 500. Now, and she also didn't plagiarize anybody's life. Unlike another famous plagiarist who remained a president and remains a president, she didn't go pretend she was somebody else and plagiarize their life. It wasn't like, a certain one that we're not allowed to mention, or they'll take us off YouTube. The one I'm mentioning, and I don't even want you guys to guess, okay, because it's not fair. This person, it was in the 80s, it was in the late 80s, and he imitated the guy who ran successfully for Prime Minister of England. He was too dumb to imitate the English accent because the man was of extremely limited double-digit IQ. But he did have written down for him exactly what the man said, and he just repeated it. And he said, "I've come from a family that's coal miners from time immemorial. We've gotten tremendous illnesses deep down in the mine. We've been unable to celebrate holidays. We've been in the mine, I'm the first person in my family to go to college, and a couple of other things." Well, that was Neil Kinnock's life, honestly and truly. Also, if you play one next to the other, which I might do later, it's exactly the same words. Not like a little change here or there, but exactly the same words. But here's the part that is the most amazing of all, that takes you beyond any other plagiarism case. Everything I just said about the guy who was doing the plagiarism is untrue. He didn't come from a family of coal miners. Yeah, they had a guy who worked for a coal mine. He was an accountant. They had one guy in the entire Biden family. Oh,
you gave it away.
I admit I'm getting like him. In the entire Biden family, they had one guy that worked for a coal mining company, and he was an accountant. They weren't deep in the mines ever. That was Neil Kinnock's life, Joe. You different. You were a middle class, one would say lower to middle class family. You were not the first to go to college in your family. There were several others, 3 or 4 others that went to college. You did not have scholarships because you were too damn stupid to have a scholarship. You were lucky to get into college since you were left back in the 3rd grade. And then there were about 4 or 5 other things. So you didn't plagiarize a writing, which is what this one did, numerous ones. You plagiarized a life. Now, she's dishonest, not worthy of being the president of a university, can hardly discipline any student who plagiarizes, so she had to go. But you're psychotic. You realize you're psychotic. People don't plagiarize somebody else's life unless they're psychotic. Isn't that fun? We have a psychotic president. You also, when you were running for president, very few people noted this because they were kissing your, whatever. You wanted them to, I know what you wanted them to do. You wanted the little children to play with the hair on your legs. But instead, everybody told you that they might think you were a pervert if you did that. But you went ahead anyway and told them that you liked it. What, were you looking for opportunities? You actually told them you liked it. Can you believe that? I mean, what kind of a weird... We got the thing about the smelling of hair. It's some kind of trichophilia, right? And it's a fetish. It's an illness, a mental illness, or I guess it's an emotional illness, a mental illness. I don't think it's quite as psychotic as the other things you have. But what's the thing about? So now we have to find out what kind of weirdo likes little children touching the hair on their legs in the pool.
And would say it out loud.
No, but that must be a disease. What do you call that mental illness?
Well, that fell under the hair. Tricka. Right?
No. I don't think so. It's his hair now. It's not him. It's not him smelling people's hair. It's young children manipulating his hair, right on the legs, because he's got hair on the legs, like none of us do. So Miss Gay is gone, and she did the victim thing, of course, and she's been treated so harshly. She will, of course, be paid $900,000 a month for her cheating, her lying, her bringing disgrace to Harvard, her losing them enormous amounts of money.
$900,000 a year, Mayor.
Yeah, $900,000 a year.
Yeah, we're a racist country. You know?
Yeah, we're a racist country.
Well, Al Sharpton went on the TV yesterday and said, of course, she was only fired because she was black. That's the only reason. He didn't mention the plagiarism. He didn't mention anything.
In other words, no whites ever been fired for plagiarism.
Well,
No.
some folks are demanding that the next president must be a black woman.
Right.
Yeah, when did we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What if a woman? Pardon me. What if a woman went there wearing blackface? Would they be able to get it?
I'm not answering that question.
Okay, all right.
I plead the fifth.
Hey, when did this start? So the last vice president we selected, well, that worked out well, huh? The last vice president we selected, minus brain, selected, said I am going to select a black woman. So this is really a very smart thing to do. You limit yourself to about 8% of the population. What a black woman, 8% of the population.
And remember,
So now that other 92% of the population, whatever it is, could contain some of the most brilliant women, men, people who could do remarkable things for the country, and you just excluded them all. It's quite possible that at this point in time, some of them are better qualified than a black woman, or vice versa. But you limited your pool to. Now, even with that, how did you find her? Where did you find her? I mean, I went to a dog kennel today, and I swear to God, I'd have come home with something smarter than her. I would. You know, look at this guy. You see this guy here? This guy here does not. He barks. Roof, roof. He doesn't do. What the hell's that? That isn't some other illness? This administration is filled with illnesses. Well, Claudine Gay went because she committed plagiarism. We're now getting the black guilt thing. Stick it.
Absolutely.
Stick it. Who gives a damn what you say? You're a bunch of lying criminals anyway. Hey, Al, when's the last time you burned your place so they wouldn't look at the IRS records?
Or paid taxes.
Or pay for a bill?
That's also true.
yeah. So
Mayor, maybe you should put Reverend in front of your name so you don't have to pay taxes.
It would be a good idea.
I think that would be
would help me right
excellent.
now. Someone demands that Harvard defines tax theft. Good luck. Yeah. How about Harvard defines education as something other than, let me see, am I a man or a woman? Well, I can't decide yet because I haven't gotten a doctorate in biology. I could be on a Supreme Court, but I wouldn't. Just being on a Supreme Court, you wouldn't know if you were a man or a woman, because we have a Supreme Court justice who cannot define man and woman, and people want her to interpret the Interstate Commerce Clause. If you can't define man and woman, how can you describe the Interstate Commerce Clause? I don't know. I mean, man and woman seem to me actually simpler than the Interstate Commerce Clause. Well,
That was Marsha Blackburn's best moment, wasn't it?
today was a great day for the liberals. I won't tell you who, but several jumped off buildings because they were waiting so hard for Trump to be all over the Epstein stuff. Oh, they wanted him on Pedophilia Island, and they wanted him on all the time on the Lolita Express, going to all exotic places. And they wanted him with the guy 24/7. And it turns out they do have somebody like that. Ha! But his name is Bill Clinton. Oh, there's Bill getting a. Well, that girl could possibly be of age, which would be exception. There's Billy getting a. Oh, there he is. Oh, there. That's our president right there. A former president, the one who used to get whatchamacallits while on the telephone. There he is, hero to the left. Basically, the guy who started. I don't think he started the communism. His wife did. He started all the corruption, though. What a thief. Nice guy, but what a thief. Whoa. So here's Trump's record, good and bad. He was on the Lolita Express 7 to 8 times, all of them documented, all of them trips from Palm Beach to New York. One was a trip from Palm Beach with a stop in Atlantic City. Several of them had his family with them. None of them had crowds of people, or as anyone can tell, women. They were actually hitching rides back from Palm Beach. And it happened over a 4-year period or 3-year period, and I believe there are 7 entries. Pretty neutral stuff. Number 2, he had dinner with them several times. The people who testified said they had no knowledge of his ever getting a massage. Bill got many. They had no knowledge of him ever going to the island, and all records indicate he never did. And they have no knowledge of his ever taking a trip with him anywhere else other than those trips back and forth. They were friends, not distant, not close, for a period of time when Mar-a-Lago first opened. He appears to have been a member of Mar-a-Lago, but that's a little unclear. But he went there a lot. And then all of a sudden in 2006, 2007, Trump threw him out. And there's not a documented version of this. There is testimony about it, and it varies a little. One has it that that Trump got a complaint from one of his members that he was messing around with an underage girl, making untoward and improper advances to her. Sounds pretty credible, huh? And the other was that he was causing trouble for a massage lady and asking her for things that he shouldn't have been, and that Trump fired him summarily, boom, like right on the spot. Not only did he fire him, he took his stuff, put it in the booth at Mar-a-Lago, and told him, and there's a witness for this part, words that I can't repeat even on the air, tell the son of a to pick up his stuff and never show his face here again, which, as far as anyone can tell, he never did, attempted twice and was turned away. And when Trump talks about him, he says, I don't like the guy. He did like him at one time. He did make a comment that he seems to like younger women. Not the same comment that was made about Clinton under oath, which was that Clinton likes young girls. That was a comment made under oath. Younger women and young girls are a world of difference, aren't they? A young girl is quite vague, and it could mean an 18-year-old girl. Could mean a 19-year-old girl. Could even mean a 25-year-old girl, depending on your perspective. Woman, rather. But when you say young girls, he likes young girls, not younger women. Big difference. And then there are witnesses to Bill Clinton not being on the plane just for trips here and there, but being on the plane very frequently, including people. No one's checked the records, by the way, on Bill Clinton, because it's Bill Clinton. But one of the statements is 27 times. And not just trips home, but trips to various parts of the country, to parties, and he was observed on Pervert Island several times with allegations that he liked young girls. So there it is. That's what they've been covering up. And probably it's going to get much more detailed than that. Now, does that prove he did anything illegal? Well, all the newspapers were quite clear that it doesn't prove that he did anything illegal. Does it leave a tremendous amount to investigate that hasn't been deliberately on purpose for a long time? Yes. Also, it is revealed that his brother, Mark Epstein, believes and is convinced that his brother was murdered. And when you look at the circumstances in that jail that I know probably as well as or better than anyone, I would say that certainly is not the kind of jail where you would expect a suicide. I put very sensitive people in there. I put people who were on suicide watch in there. I like putting people on suicide watch in there because it's a very small prison. It's an easy prison to secure people. Now, I'm not talking to you as an amateur about prisons. For 2.5 years, I had overall supervision of the Federal Bureau of Prisons. I had it during the time of the Mariel boat lift and the Haitian invasion. I had criminals in the criminal justice system in America that never had before that were taken out of insane asylums in Cuba. So I think I know something about running a prison. And what I don't know, Bernie Kerik knows, who made Rikers Island the safest prison in the United States, later to become one of the worst, again, because Democrats took over. That is not a prison where you're going to commit a suicide too easily. Why? Because it's small. It's easy, very easy to inspect and to keep watch. And if you want to know the details of it, go to America's Mayor Confidential, hit subscribe, and you'll get a detailed description of it, which I did last evening, as well as some of the comparisons and some of the questions that are raised. I don't know what happened. I am not asserting what happened. I am telling you, however, that there's something very corrupt in that it hasn't been investigated. And I think Bill Barr's situation here should be looked at as well. He said he was going to recuse himself, and he did not. And his father possibly employed Epstein. So there's issues here where one would say, in conclusion, and therefore watch this documentary that I did, there are more questions than answers, would be the way to say it. We will take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to have a special guest, and we're going to talk about Israel.
Our device is something that you can plug into your television, and now you can use your television as a social television type experience. So in the Portal universe, you can watch your favorite content creators' videos, live streams, music. We also have TV subscriptions as well.
TV subscriptions.
You can also
regular channels, all the sports.
Right, you can actually cut your cable from your cable subscription and get QUX TV on our QX TV boxes, and you can pay half the price that you're currently paying for your cable television subscription, and you can get all the best premium TV channels and more. I mean, it's really, there's so much on there, Rudy. I mean, you've seen it.
No, I've seen it, and I use it, and it's good. I mean, it's just exactly the same, except for half the price. Plus, nobody is finding out what I'm watching, and that's not being reported to anybody.
Right, so you have absolute privacy using this device, which you don't have on other devices out there currently on the market.
This is absolutely great. QUX.TV is how you can find out about it. QUX.TV.
Use promo code RUDY to receive $30 off.
Welcome back. It's Rudy Giuliani, America's Mayor Live. Justine, thank you for joining us again. Justine has been working extremely hard at Newsmax. I saw her over there the other day when Dr. Maria and I were there. And boy, you run the place.
One day, maybe one day.
She seems to know everything, have everything under control. So she is going to go to Israel soon.
Yep.
What does soon mean?
Sunday.
Oh, really soon.
very soon. I haven't even started packing yet, procrastinating, because I'm trying to pack for Warzone, and I'm a pageant girl. So
It'll be like Bob Hope going to see the troops.
exactly.
They used to show up. Betty Grable would show up and show her legs, and the troops loved it.
Justine can sing and dance too.
I know she can. She can do everything.
I feel like it will be the movie Private Benjamin, where Goldie Hawn had to jump out of the plane and wear the helmet.
Yeah,
and the,
yeah. I like better like a USO troop going and entertaining. You can go and sing and dance.
and
They'd love that. But I think you're going there to really to observe, right? To see what's going on.
we're actually touring the site of the music festival that was ransacked, and we're
So you'll be down in Southern. So are you going with a group or a group of people that you put together, or a predetermined group?
It was predetermined group with the Young Jewish Conservatives, and there's multiple trips right now thanks to the World Zionist Organization. But Young Jewish Conservatives is my particular group, and I've been with some of the members on the trip. I've known them for years. We've all been very good friends, all very proud supporters of Israel, proud patriots, and we've all really taken quite the heat on social media and everywhere for being Jewish now. And you see it. It's mostly from the left. It's mostly from those academic types. And
Yeah, why would it be from the right? The right doesn't seem to have any problem with this at all.
you'd think that,
But they do.
unfortunately, and not most of the wonderful mainstream people, not you, not
Right.
our great allies, but this is the problem with anti-Semitism. It's the left and the people and some people on the right. It's one issue they can really unite behind.
Oh, great. Well, why don't they all
Hating-
go away somewhere?
They should. But
There's a nice place for them called Gaza.
Gaza or Epstein's Island.
Right? No, Gaza right now.
Gaza right now. Well,
Not that I'm suggesting it, but Gaza right now.
I mean, there's probably some room on our flight. We can just take up.
Just
a
drop
couple
them off
of
in
them.
Gaza.
We'll just fly over Gaza
Yep.
and just drop you down there.
Yeah.
But it goes to show politics is the horseshoe theory, right? You have the communists and you have fascists, but you think they're aligned. And my professor, freshman year, the first professor I had in school, he was a radical leftist, and he later harassed me on social media. He refused the idea that politics was a horseshoe theory. He said, no, it's a line. You have like the evil Trump supporters, and you have the good Marxists on the left. And I said, no. He wouldn't let me speak. I said, no, they're
So you have the evil Trump people who, as far as we know, never killed anybody. And you have the wonderful Marxists who are responsible for more human death than any ideology in the history of humankind that we know of.
exactly.
Yeah,
Makes
it's a good
sense, yeah.
comparison. It's a really good comparison. I mean, 80 million Chinese dead because of Marxism.
And now
Great.
the same tolerant Marxists are chanting for the death of Americans and Jews in our streets right
Yeah,
now.
and China is desperately trying to outdo Nazi Germany. I mean, like, they want to see if they can accomplish what Hitler couldn't, some real genocides.
And
See
then
if I
you
can get rid of entire groups of people.
have the jihadists. And the Maoists are marching with the jihadists, but the Maoists are supposed to not believe in God. They want to shut down anyone who has a religion, yet they're siding with the radical Islamists because the whole attempt is to destroy the West.
Yeah, a lot of people, of course, are extraordinarily ignorant. So when they hear that there's this desire to wipe out the Jews, they don't know where it comes from among Muslims. But when you hear about, let's say, the genocide of Armenia,
Yeah.
That was a Muslim Christian genocide. That was the extremists in the Ottoman Empire that was starting to fall apart, wanting to kill the Christian Armenians. And now you have some of it going on right now, where
Nigeria.
Azerbaijan just did away with 5,000 Armenians who were Christians. So any Christian who thinks that this doesn't extend to them is absolutely wrong. Islamic Orthodox theory is that Christians and Jews are infidels, and they should be either submit or die, or pay tribute, which makes them an organized crime group as well, because their principles can be can be purchased,
Yep.
like our president. Very similar in that
And-
sense. So the war, I want to bring people up to date on the war. So ISIS now claims credit for taking out the Soleimani tomb worshippers. I don't agree with that attack because it was on civilians. I am absolutely certain it's not an Israeli or an American attack because I can't think of an Israeli attack that was other than on a munition or military target in Iran. I mean, they did a good job of taking out the nuclear scientists, and good. Thank God they did. They set them back 5 years. And America doesn't hit anything, so we can't. Obviously, it wasn't going to be Biden. Biden was against killing Soleimani in the first place. He's already going to go bomb a Soleimani memorial. Maybe he likes Soleimani. I don't know. I mean, he likes Iran enough to give him billions of dollars. So that's a lot of affection.
Yeah, just like he still funds the Palestinian Authority, which has a pay to slay program.
Yeah, that's very intelligent.
If you murder Jews in Israel, you get paid a lifetime salary by the Palestinian Authority.
I wonder how much of the money, even now, that's being used is the cash that Obama gave to them. A lot of it was used by Soleimani to kill Americans who someone should have told Obama he was the president of. But he gave him hundreds of millions in cash, which has to be a sure sign that he knew it was going to terrorists. Because I can't imagine, having worked in the White House on and off, and having worked for Reagan and been Trump's lawyer, I can't imagine either one of them getting a call from Iran and being asked for money, and first of all giving it, but number two, giving it in cash in the middle of the night. In fact, you had to be familiar with Chicago drug deals to know how to do that. That's the closest analogy in his experience, close to him geographically, about movement of cash would have been Chicago drug dealers who, move cash in the middle of the night because cash can't be traced. And cash is much better, for example, for terrorist groups because you don't have a record of giving it to them.
We should rename it the Brown Paper Bag Party.
Yeah. In fact, we should put Obama in jail for laundering money. Millions.
Exactly.
Yeah. That would happen if we had a fair and equitable system of justice. But we lost that somewhere under Obama and Holder. It went away.
So we have some video of this blast that took place, this bombing.
When they hit the
Soleimani
Soleimani Memorial?
in Iran.
The Murder of Americans Memorial?
In the south, in southeast Iran.
Was that the first? If that was the first or second one?
I believe that's the second.
The second one was the worst one. The first one was the lighter of the two. The second one was a mile or so away. And the theory of it was you do two because the first one is get a certain number of people, and then you try to figure out where they're going to flee, and then you do the second one where a whole group of people have gone to get away from it, and you blow them up.
Yeah.
And that's what they had done.
And that's why they think it's an ISIS hit, because that is a trademark of ISIS. And ISIS, of course, has claimed credit for it. Can't imagine why they would if they didn't. And they make sense. There are a couple of other groups up there that would have made sense also. The Kurds, of course. The Kurds would take any opportunity to attack Iran because Iran has persecuted them and attempted certain kinds of genocide on them. So it could have been a Kurdish terrorist group. But if ISIS took credit,
Why wouldn't?
nobody else has. Makes sense. But it is definitely not what the crooked, dishonest, organized criminals who run Iran say it was, which is Israel and the United States.
The Jews.
The truth.
The Jews.
Yeah. The Ayatollah does not like them,
Yeah.
but he's a very religious man. He just would like to see the Jews eliminated.
And then the Christians.
Well, death to America. He wants America dead. Yeah, America, get them out of the way. He wants a couple of Christians around so he can extort them for money.
Right.
And
And then
he
kill
does.
them.
Actually, he would keep some Jews that pay him.
That's
He would keep if you can make a deal with him because actually he's an organized criminal rather than he's not a religious man. That's a bunch of crap. All the mullahs are a bunch of local mafia captains. They shake down everybody there for money, and that's why you have a real underground revolution going on in Iran, a real one.
Yeah,
one that I believe would have come to fruition with 2 more years of Trump. They had 190 protests during Trump's administration in every city in Iran. And the Iranian mullahs and the bloody maniacs who run the place were killing Iranians left and right. They're doing it now, too, because they're getting protest again.
It's interesting to see the difference of the Iranian people who are standing up, trying to stand up for freedom in the most dire circumstances. You're risking your life versus the people of Gaza, which most of them support the Hamas murders of Jews.
Big difference. Very good point.
Gaza is a modern day Nazi Germany. That's in their attitude. That's the way they think. But then you have people in Iran, particularly women, who want to support Western values.
Yeah, and it's not terribly different. Don't get sentimental, ladies and gentlemen, over the West Bank either. The Fatah people aren't much better. First of all, they were the original terrorists. They were the PLO. They're the people who killed. Well, I know of 27 Americans that they killed because I investigated Yasser Arafat and had a warrant for his arrest and would love to have prosecuted him for murder. But when the Bush people came in, they went soft on. They went soft on Saudi Arabia. They went soft on all the, largely because of Jim Baker, who is credited with a lot of good things, but there was always a feeling he was anti-Semitic. I don't know if he was anti-Semitic, but in terms of policy, he was anti-Israel. And he for a period, I thought he made I think he's responsible for a major shift that has us where we are. Reagan had us on the right track with Israel. Reagan and George Shultz had us on the right, particularly George Shultz with Reagan. The Haig was in charge. I don't know what kind of a Secretary of State was, but Shultz was an excellent one. And he up to that point had probably the best relationship that Israel had with the United States. But when Bush came in and made the mistake of making Jim Baker the Secretary of, what was the original Secretary of State, I guess. And Baker always had a sort of oil man's approach to Saudi Arabia, kissed the ground they walked on, and had at least a feeling among all Jews was that he was anti-Semitic. I remember trying to surrogate for Bush up in the Catskills. And oh man, I got hit with so much anti-Semitism stuff about Bush. And it wasn't about Bush, it was all about Jim Baker. And then Clinton took over, and then Arafat charmed the hell out of Clinton. Who knows? Who knows?
And
who knows? There may have been camels available.
And Mayor, isn't Iran largely responsible for October 7th and how that came to be? And look what that's meant for Gaza and the people of Gaza, right? So
100%.
Iran doesn't care about these people.
Calling the shots, and if you'd like to stay on tonight after we're finished and go to my my confidential channel, you will see a real explanation of that, of exactly how we are being suckered into fighting with decoys while Iran sits back there and is running the whole show and getting away with it.
And the Hamas leaders, they're in Qatar and Iran, in these neighboring Arab nations. They're not one of the people. They're way over there. They're just.
But Israel got a good one. Israel got a good one in Lebanon the other day. That's ballsy going into Lebanon. Something we wouldn't have the courage to do. They went in and took out Harari, right? And then they took out Masavi in the south. So you took out in 2 days 2 of the 5 top Hamas leadership. And Harari was particularly bold because they had to do the attack in Lebanon. And they went right into Lebanon, right outside of Beirut, and hit him, took him out, 3 other major Hamas generals. And of course, the president of Lebanon is squealing like a pig.
Oh, of course.
He wasn't squealing. He wasn't squealing with the hundreds of rockets that were being sent out of Lebanon, killing Jews. But
Nope.
they come there and they take out a terrorist leader, and oh boy, that's terrible. What's up?
Well, before we go to commercial break and before we say goodbye to our friend Justine, I just wanted to know, what else can you tell us about your upcoming trip to Israel? And what can you share with us about what you'll be doing?
So we'll be there for a couple of days. We're going to some of the kibbutzim that were completely ransacked, where women, children, and men, they were murdered in the most gruesome, the most gruesome, brutal ways. And if you read the New York Times report, and I can't believe I'm citing the New York Times, this is the 1 ounce of journalism they've ever done, probably in forever. But they actually gave a detailed report on the rapes and the burnings of bodies of Jewish women. So we're going right to that site, and I'm pretty queasy already. Most of the hostages are still hostage. We don't know if we'll ever get them back. And so far, the American hostages that were released, they were released they weren't released. Some of their bodies are still being held captive.
We don't know how many are dead and whether we'll get their bodies back.
But
we're not even sure they're telling the truth about their being dead, because they've lied about a couple of people.
And we already know
completely horrendous human beings.
Yeah. We already know some American hostages are dead. And that's for these terrorists, their gold award is American hostages. That's why you've seen hostages from other countries. Those were the ones who were released first. God knows what has happened, as you said, to everyone else.
Man, we gotta stay safe, Justine, and listen to the people that know what they're doing. I'm not sure who they are yet.
Well, I've been in Israel many times.
Mayor, what advice do you have for her?
You're in a safe place.
Thank you.
You are. You can't believe how safe Israel is, even now with the bombs. And I'm going to tell you, when you're there, and occasionally you have a bomb, and you're going to have to put yourself down on the ground, put your face down. I tell you that because they're all shrapnel bombs.
No heels.
And they're going to hurt you. They're going to hurt you because they're at least up here.
Right. So
you get down and you lay down, it won't hurt your face. Right. And maybe it'll get the side a little bit, but that'd be very lucky if it did that. Iron Dome, they're going to keep you alive. And that means that you say a little prayer of thanks for Ronald Reagan.
And that I will do.
Okay. Because I'll show you the letter. When you come back, I'll find it and I'll show you the letter of Bibi to Mrs. Reagan, thanking Ronald Reagan for having the courage to stick with Star Wars, because without it, there'd be no Iron Dome. And do you know who opposed Star Wars? Every freaking left-wing idiot Democrat like Joe Biden. Towers Foundation delivers on its promise to do good and never forget the sacrifices America's greatest heroes have made for us. Heroes who risked their lives to keep our communities and our country safe. Heroes like United States Marine Corps Captain and pilot John Jeremy Sachs. Captain Sachs sustained fatal injuries when his military aircraft crashed during training, killing him and 5 other service members. He's remembered by loved ones as courageous, brilliant, and devoted to his career, family, and friends. John is survived by his wife, Amber, who gave birth to their second daughter 3 months after his death. Tunnel to Towers paid the mortgage on the family home for Amber and their 2 daughters. The foundation has helped over 1,000 military and first responder families navigate the worst of times by removing the burden of a mortgage payment. Our nation's heroes and their families need your help now more than ever. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org. T2T.org. That's T, the number 2T.org. T2T.org. Please donate now. Do not forget your balance of nature. Take your pills, fruits, veggies, 2 in the morning, 2 at night. You'll get all of what you need. You won't have to worry about this supplement and that supplement and this supplement and that. You want to add supplements? God bless you. Not going to hurt you. Maybe you got check with a doctor or a nutritionist on that. You don't have to check with them on this. This is FDA approved. This is fabulous. It's everything you can imagine. I guess it doesn't have to be FDA approved. It's not really a medicine.
No.
It's a supplement, a natural supplement.
Dietary supplements. Food.
It's a dietary supplement. It has a safety seal, makes a great ornament, as you saw, and it is fabulous. It gives you tremendous energy. I'm telling you, it really does. Now, I don't know how. Well, I think this is significant because it shows you. I mean, I've been in court all my life, on and off, and I've seen some horrible things in court, and I've been in front of judges that should be somewhere in Moscow, particularly recently. But I mean, in Moscow in the old days, not even now. But I don't think I've ever seen anything like this. This is crazy, and it has to tell you something about the sign of the times.
Be like sent to prison for a second time.
Have you looked at your criminal history? Have you looked at your criminal history?
Actually, just I looked at it.
I mean, you lived it, I
I
suppose.
just looked at it.
Yeah. Shape that, but I think it's time that you get a taste of something else because I just can't with that history. In accordance with the laws of the state of Nevada, as far as
Are you offended by the cops adding those extra punches?
No.
Good.
Not
It's
even
just
a
what you
little
need.
bit.
That guy should go away for life.
That's what you need. A little more of that. Unfortunately, in New York, that I never. Those poor guys that get sued in New
You're
York.
out of jail, you're walking out of
In,
jail. an
in
hour
Utah,
later.
I think they should be okay.
Got that
But in
right.
New York, you can't imagine. I mean, they'd all be all after those guys. And I have to say, he's got to be pretty fast because he was pretty far away. Well, the last time we saw him, there was the well of the court in between him and the judge. He had to get all through that and up. Also, he hell of a jumper, the guy.
My question is, Mayor, how come the bailiff didn't intercept him before he jumped when he
I
was
thought he
standing right
tried.
there?
I thought he tried. I mean, I thought that guy did about as good a job as you could imagine, given the circumstances. Who's going to expect that? Come on. Can we show that again? It's worth showing again. I want you to see how fast. I don't know how much they could have hurt her either because they got in there real quick and deflected it. Just watch.
Be like sent to prison for a second time.
have you looked at your criminal history? Have you looked at your criminal history?
Actually, just I looked at it.
I mean, you lived it, I
I
suppose.
just looked at it.
Yeah. Shape that, but I think it's time that you get a taste of something else because I just can't with that history. In accordance with the laws of the state of Nevada, as far as
The point that I was trying to make, he was pretty much on him simultaneously. As he came over, the bailiff was on him. So he couldn't have gotten too much off.
She's lucky he was.
Yeah. Just watch how fast. You going to do it again?
Yeah.
Just watch how fast that bailiff is on him. Admittedly, not enough to interrupt him, but he probably would have been driven into her if he. So the
Jammed up his arm.
yeah.
something else because I just can't with that history.
But just watch.
In
I mean,
accordance
watch
with the
this here
laws
now.
of the
He'll
state of
come
Nevada,
over.
as far as-
She moved, and he's there. He's there. Whoever he is. I mean, he may be the clerk, but the bailiff got some nice punches off. You see that at the end? He threw in a couple of lefties, left and right.
Mayor, mayor of New York, if you assault a judge, you probably walk out of jail the next day. So hopefully Nevada has some strict laws, you know?
Yeah, here's what the bailiff gets to see. Oh, the other guy. There you go, kid. There you go. That's it. That's it. Protect your judge. I think you're being way too harsh on that guy. I thought he did a good job. If I were him, I'd be proud of what I did. He got himself in there, and I think the mere fact that he got his body in there saved her a tremendous amount of damage. Something like that is an indication of Biden. I mean, I showed that, and I just put up right now, Biden's America. That doesn't happen under the kind of leadership that a Trump showed when he was president, or the kind of leadership Reagan showed it. He was president. Certainly wouldn't have happened in New York City when I was in New York City. I don't. That first I ever saw that. Border at the breaking point announces the Republican members of Congress who went down to the border. Notice no Democrats will go down and take a look at how their country is being invaded. What is it? Are we the only Americans? America is being invaded. This is not a migrant crisis. This is an invasion. And they're not migrants. They're illegals. When we made that euphemistic change, that was a cave-in to the 1984 style fascists who run America. There's not a damn thing legal about them. Even the ones claiming asylum are now illegal because they should have claimed asylum outside the United States to the first country they went to. The minute you do that, the law is simple. If you want asylum, you got to claim it in the first country you get to. Second country can throw you out because it shows that you're really not all that scared, and you're playing country tag, right? Oh, I'm escaping persecution, but I want to go to a real rich country, escaping persecution. Sorry, it doesn't work that way. You see, there is no such thing as poverty persecution. The reason for that is you couldn't make a distinction. You'd have to take the whole world. You take the whole world, you no longer have a country. You bankrupt it. You deprive it of a common culture, a common language, common experiences, common agreed upon principles. Now, immigration has to be a big process, but a careful process. And this is not and where halfwits like our mayor in New York compare it to the immigration of the turn of the 20th century, et cetera. It is not at all. Those people came over legally. They came over without any expectation of health insurance, which you, Adams, gave them 2 years before California gave it to them. California just did it this year, which is crazy. 760,000 people who are illegal are going to get free health insurance. A lot of people in California who are American citizens don't get free health insurance. You're treating them better than the American homeless. You're treating them better than the American veterans. And you don't know who they are. That's what distinguishes them from the people that came over before. People that came over before, we knew who they were. They were checked at Ellis Island and other places. They were held in confinement if there were questions about them. Go look at Ellis Island. You'll see the hospital beds. You'll see the cells. These people are all let in. And those are the ones we get at least the name they give us. But we have no idea if they're criminals, not criminals. Maybe if they're walking around with the eyes rolling around their head, we know they're crazy, but they'd have to have the eyes rolling around their head. We have somewhere around 8 million people in this country right now. We haven't the foggiest idea if they're good people or bad people. We haven't the foggiest idea if they're in mental institutions. We haven't the foggiest idea if they're sex perverts. We haven't the foggiest idea if they're mass murderers. We have the foggiest idea if they're terrorists. We know they're all of some. They're all of that. They have all those characteristics because we have more death. We have more death from drugs than ever before. We are the leading country for sexual abuse of minors, for trafficking in children. You want America to be the leading country? Well, you got it because you voted for Biden. And you know something? When you voted for him, I could have told you it was going to happen. In fact, when you did vote, I did tell you. You just didn't listen to me. In fact, I tried to get you the hard drive and was accused of being a Russian agent by the creep in the White House. Think maybe he owes me money for defamation?
Yes.
Damn right he does. Said it on national television. Want to know why I don't like him? Well, actually, because more of what he's doing to my country than even me, I can take it. My country can't take much more of it. Headline in the Post, right here. Border at breaking point. And that's what it is. It's at the breaking point. Border at breaking point. So, and we got a year to go. We got a year to go with the guy who hates America and is trying to destroy it in the White House with the second biggest liar in America right here. There he is, Mayorkas. Where he got this guy, I don't know. But this guy can't tell the truth if he tries. Oh, there's no, the border is secure. Who are those 15,000 people I just saw him back here coming in?
Mayor, it looks like the Republicans finally got the balls to start impeaching him. So, or in making an inquiry, but it's too late, unfortunately, in my opinion.
Did Mayorkas go to Harvard, by the way?
Well, then that would be how he was taught doing that.
Probably, right?
Now, here's an interesting one, right? So Adams, one of Adams' problems is he'd probably do better if he didn't think he was smart. I think he gets in trouble because he thinks he's smart and he thinks he's cool. Because he goes to clubs at night, he thinks he's cool. And he's trying to outthink Abbott, who's working at like double the intelligence level and 3 times the conniving level. So Abbott's sending all the people in here. He's going crazy. He's calling Abbott a racist and all this other stuff, getting his jollies off, but accomplishing nothing. And in the meantime, getting us 160,000 people we didn't have before and sending New York City completely broke. And treating them like they're here for, a Waldorf Astoria weekend. So he gets a great idea. I am going to take an executive order and I am going to ban the buses. He even imposes civil and criminal penalties. Now, where he thinks he gets the authority to create criminal penalties is quite a stretch. But we have learned some time ago that there must have been a point around Bill Clinton's time, or maybe Holder and Obama, where they burned the Constitution. They must have had a secret burning ceremony, because the president of the United States does not have the power to set criminal penalties, nor does a mayor, nor does a governor. But he did. He set criminal penalties, and he was going to keep those buses out. What he forgot is he's stupid. He doesn't realize he's stupid. And it's very, very dangerous when you walk around not knowing you're stupid, because all the buses did was they stopped in New Jersey. They gave him the money to go on the PATH train. And they all came in. So now Adams, who sucks the backside of the Democratic Party constantly and will sell out New York for the Democratic Party, and has over and over, he's afraid to go against another Democrat. So he goes and sees Murphy, the governor of New Jersey, and figures Murphy will keep them to help him. Murphy tells him to go F himself. And Murphy is sticking them all on buses and bringing them right into New York. So what is he going to do? Arrest Murphy's bus drivers? He wouldn't have the guts to do it. I mean, he gets outsmarted all the time. We got a mayor who can't win. Problem is, I'm telling you, here's the truth. The biggest danger of Adams is he thinks he's smart.
Just listen to him talking, that's not. Hello, everybody. This is your mayor.
I'm the mayor. We got mad at that sweet old lady.
In 19.
Who was a Holocaust survivor.
You will address me as the mayor.
I'm the mayor.
Remember that mayor? He's yelling at a lady.
80-year-old lady. Look at the lady.
But she's a Holocaust survivor. He's yelling at.
Look at you. He's yelling at.
I'm the mayor. Don't talk to me like we're on a plantation.
I'm the mayor. I'm the mayor.
That's right. He accused her. He pulled the race card.
Yeah, he pulled the race card.
I talk to God.
She had some legitimate concern about housing or something.
And she's like, excuse me, sir. I was in the Holocaust.
Yeah.
So don't talk to me about the
What's
plantation. That? Okay, yeah. He doesn't know what that is.
Was there a fire?
Yeah, he doesn't know.
Send the fire department. The Holocaust is a historical fact. Oh, that one. Okay. Well, and Abbott is a mean, vicious, racist, pig monitor. Oh, All he's trying to do is help you, jerk. He's trying to stop them from coming in. You, if you could get your head out of being a dumb, brainwashed Democrat, you'd figure out that Abbott's on your side. And your idiot president is taking Abbott to court, trying to stop Abbott from stopping illegals from coming in. Does that make any sense? He's stopping Abbott from stopping illegals from coming in. Abbott is doing the job that he swore to do that Biden isn't doing. A president is, by definition, supposed to protect our borders. We have no border. We do not have a border. It's a misnomer to say we have a invasion of the border. We have no border. Abbott put up that barbed wire to stop them from coming in, which is consistent with American law. They are not allowed to just walk in. It is a illegal act to do it. You are going to court, suing Abbott, and you want him to take up the barbed wire so that it's easier for the illegals to come in, which says to me that you are aiding and abetting an invasion of the United States, and therefore every Republican Secretary of State in a Republican state should take you the hell off the ballot, jerk off, and take you out of your misery on the theory of Colorado and the theory of the other place. Let the Supreme Court reverse it for all of them. But you are involved in a real insurrection. It's called an invasion of 8 million people, many of whom are criminals. I don't know how many, but you know that a large number of them are criminals. Why in heaven's name would the cartels let lots of legitimate people in? They're not going to get a lot of money from legitimate people. Why do you think your fentanyl deaths are going to go up by 40, 50% this year? But you don't really care, do you, if those people die? It doesn't keep you up at night. You need that energy for the clubs. You're a disgrace.
He's got his marching orders.
As one of the few living mayors of New York, and certainly the best of the living mayors in New York, I find you completely incompetent and a disgrace and a danger to our people. And you're a danger to your own people. What'd you pick this job for? It's way over your head, jerk. Okay, we're going to take a short break, but before I do that, I'm going to remind you to go to mypillows.com, promo code Rudy. Okay?
Not only that, Mayor, we're asking folks to right now subscribe to our X account. Head over to x.com, formerly known as Twitter, and hit that subscribe button. Hit that purple subscribe button.
Give them a little taste of how it's going to start.
And this is what you can expect. So here's a little teaser on our way out. We call this a tease.
And I'll see you guys tomorrow. I went a little over, but you know I like to do that.
So head on over to X right now, and here's a little taste of what you'll get.
When I meet with the Tatalia people, should I insist that all these drug middlemen have clean records?
Mention it. Don't insist. But saying he's a man who know that without being told.
You mean Tatalia?
Tatalia's a pimp. He never could have outfought Santino. But I didn't know until this day that it was Bazzini all along.
Our purpose to bring to bear the principle of common sense and rational discussion to the issues of our day. America was created at a time of great turmoil, tremendous disagreements, anger, hatred. There was a book written in 1776 that guided much of the discipline of thinking that brought to us the discovery of our freedoms, of our God-given freedoms. It was Thomas Paine's Common Sense, written in 1776, one of the first American bestsellers, in which Thomas Paine explained by rational principles. The reason why these small colonies felt the necessity to separate from the Kingdom of Great Britain and the King of England. He explained their inherent desire for liberty, for freedom, freedom of religion, freedom of speech, the ability to select the people who govern them. And he explained it in ways that were understandable to all the people, not just the elite. Because the desire for freedom is universal. The desire for freedom adheres in the human mind, and it is part of the human soul. This is exactly the time we should consult our history. Look at what we've done in the past and see if we can't use it to help us now. We understand that our founders created the greatest country in the history of the world, the greatest democracy, the freest country, a country that has taken more people out of poverty than any country ever. All of us are so fortunate to be Americans. But a great deal of the reason for America's constant ability to self-improve is because we're able to reason, we're able to talk, we're able to analyze. We are able to apply our God-given common sense. So let's do it.